Hello everyone, the project I'm going to be sharing today is for the Let's Get Arty challenge in the Facebook group, the Mixed Media Emporium. We have changed the prompts for 2022 and in week 3 of every month going forward, the challenge is Let's Get Arty, just to try and encourage us to bring out our art supplies, be it acrylic paints, watercolours, gouache as I'm going to be using today, your stamps, your stencils, all of that kind of thing. Because I know that many of us have been caught by the collage bug and we've got craft supplies that are sitting in our craft rooms gathering dust. Now I am going to be working on some Rowney mixed media paper. I'm just going to use one sheet I think today, but this is the pad that I have cut my paper from. It's the Rowney, as I say, A4 pad, mixed media pad. It's really good quality. It's 250 GSM or 169 pounds in weight, so nice and thick and holds water really well. Now I have cut one sheet. I've torn it out of the pad and I've cut it down to 11 inches by 8 inches and then cut that into four sheets that measure 4 inches by 5.5 inches in height. So that's what I've got to use as my substrate. As you can see here, I've taken one of those sheets that I cut out and I've just applied some masking tape around the outside, washi tape. This is by Arrtx. This was sent to me free of charge. I received a really nice New Year's goodie box from them with a couple of items to try, and the washi tape was in there. I want to use some Prussian blue gouache. Again, this is by the brand Arrtx. I'll talk more about this some other time. But I'm just going to start off by putting a small amount of this onto a tile. I've just got a bathroom or kitchen tile here that I'm going to be working on. I don't know whether you can see the shine on this. Let's try and get all of that paint off this palette knife. Now with gouache to explain is it's an opaque watercolour. It's a cross between an acrylic paint and a watercolour, very opaque, but you do need to water it down, otherwise it's very difficult to work with. And all I'm going to do is put a layer of this Prussian blue all over my background, trying to work away from the masking tape so that it doesn't seep underneath. I do want some texture in here, so I am going to tap mine on and just see what happens. I like the fact that we've got some darker areas here as well. That's really nice. And the good thing with gouache is it dries incredibly quickly. It's got a gorgeous matte finish as well, which I really like. So I'll be interested to see how I get along with this particular brand. I've got the Arrtx gouache colours and those are just absolutely beautiful. I should bring those out more often, and perhaps if we've got this Let's Get Arty session each month, then I am going to dig out all of my old supplies. So I like the way that looks, and I'm just going to set this off to one side to dry. It will only take a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Perhaps I should go and make myself a cup of tea. I like the texture that I've got on this. Now I'm going to be drawing a sunflower, and my biggest problem is that I don't have any sense of perspective. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to draw the centre of my sunflower by drawing round this lid here. It's a lid of one of my spray bottles. And I am just going to draw around it like this, and I'm going to start off with the centre of my sunflower. I'm going to use burnt umber to do that, and I'm just going to dip a size 10 paintbrush. This is a really cheap quality set. You can see that mine is cracking. I haven't abused it either. It was just that it was a really cheap set, and I'd advise you to use your older paintbrushes as well, because if you use gouache, it's not very kind to your paintbrushes. So don't use your good watercolour brushes unless you absolutely have to, and I would advise you to go and wash everything off straight afterwards as well. That's too thick. I need some water to that, and you do need a bit of water with gouache as well. But I'm just going to paint my circle in the centre of my sunflower. That will do fine. And again, I'm going to cheat and just dry this with the heat tool. Gently though, so that I don't get any blistering. If you hold your heat tool too close, paint will just blister, which sometimes is a really desired effect. That's the centre of my sunflower, and now I'm going to draw my petals using the Conte Paris pastel pencil. I'm just going to sketch these out, just because I'm not very good at getting a sense of perspective. I can lift this up, and I'm just going to keep twisting my paper. This is easier for me, and I just feel that this gives me some comfort rather than just adding the paint straight away, because if I make a mistake I can just rub it out, whereas for me, if I add the paint straight away and I make a mistake, it's ruined and I will have to start again. So this is my preferred method, but of course you could do it in any way you like, and you don't have to do a sunflower or any kind of painting like me as well. Interpret this prompt in any way you like. What I think I'd like to do, because I've got these 4 pieces of mixed media paper that I've cut out, I would quite like to do a series on this. Now that is just a rough guide, and I am going to take that same size 10 watercolour paintbrush, and I'm just going to start off by adding some white, just to sort of give me a base to work with. So what have I done with my palette knife? Hang on, it's in the muddy water, so let me just give it a quick dry, and I'm just going to put some of this down on my palette as well. I can always add some more if I need it. Water it down ever so slightly just to thin it out, otherwise gouache is just really difficult to work with. And I'm just going to loosely add some petals, and I'm just going to go all the way around like this, being really loose and scribbly about it. And I'm going to go around again just in between the petals that I've already drawn, just where I think it needs them. So not everywhere, just where I've got some of these wider gaps. Yeah, I think I'm happy with how that's looking so far. Bring in some yellow. Let's add a little bit of yellow to the palette, and we can mix these 2 colours together. Bring in a bit more water. That's still a little bit too thick, and again I'm just going to go over this, and I don't mind if I've got some of that white showing, but this will just, by having the white on the background first, it will just make my sunflower more opaque. And I'm just playing, I'm not overthinking this, or at least I'm trying not to anyway. And it's starting to look more like a sunflower now, and we can just build up lots and lots of layers of different colours to give this some beautiful depth. I've been playing on a scratch piece of paper, and I just want to add some yellow. I need a bit more than that, and a tiny weeny amount of red as well, just to give me more of an orange colour. I'm going to add the tiniest dot just on the end of my paintbrush. Maybe a bit more yellow. I think that's a bit too red. So let's add a bit more of the yellow. Yeah, and you see that's good. And so I'm just going to, in fact, actually, I want my larger paintbrush. Let me just rinse it off. I've got a couple of jars of water to my right hand side, and I'm just going to go over the sunflowers again. Just, you see, that's really nice. And now you can see that I'm just building up nice layers as well. And for me, the important thing is not overthinking what I'm doing, which for those of you that have followed me for a long time, I have a tendency to do, and sometimes it hinders you. It really does. Just go for it. There is usually no mistake that you can't fix, and I have made many mistakes during my mixed media time. Honestly, I have. Let's see if we can mix together a green so that we can add some leaves. I'm just going to dip into the colour that I've already got here. I've got a bit of black on my brush as well. I've been playing on a piece of cardstock, and that's the shade that I'm aiming for. Really like that. Let's add a tiny bit more water. I also added some blue to my mix. Look at my water. My water is disgusting now, but that's okay. I need to go and rinse it off. I need to add some blue to this as well. Let's mix a bit of blue in. And I think I'm happy with that shade. I've got my paint colours mixed, and what I do want to do is just draw on some leaves, because the last thing I want to do at this stage is just ruin my painting. So let's just scribble some leaves on. And then, do I want another one over here? Perhaps I do. Again, just use this as a rough guide, and let's paint on some leaves. I'm going to use my thick paintbrush again, and the white will just blend into the background. Let's just try and get inside here. That's just lovely. And again, if I rinse my brush off, let me just bring in I can just try and pick up some more of those tones as well, some of the darker one as well. I mixed some of that green in with the blue that was already there, just so that I'd got a couple of different tones to work with. Let's rinse my brush off. Let's add the next leaf. And we can add more detail to this in a second as well. This is just the basics to start off with. Try not to go over my petals. There we are. You see, I like the way that looks, and now we need to add lots and lots of details to bring this to life. I'm really happy with how my painting is looking so far, and I'm just going to peel the masking tape off, peeling it away from the design as well, just in case it tears, like you could see that that piece did. But here we are. Doesn't that look so lovely? Let's just take that last piece off, and now we need to add some detail. I just want to add some details using these acrylic markers. Again, these are by Arrtx. These are just so much easier to use than things like Posca paint pens. I absolutely love these. I was sent these just after Christmas, and I've used them a couple of times. I've been experimenting with these, and oh, I would highly recommend them. I just think they're fabulous. You've got none of the pumping action. You just take the lid off and away they go. They're really highly pigmented. Just love these. So I'm just going to add some details all the way around, just to, you know, deepen the colour. Let's try a different colour. We can add some of the paler yellow as well. Just want these to look really interesting and have lots of depth about them. Just look how gorgeous this looks. And it's so easy to do, therapeutic. These just go on so smoothly and easily. And then finally, let's just add some of this as well. Just going all the way around. And I do also want to add lots of dots of these around the centre of the flowers as well. In fact, actually, these have a bullet tip too. So you've got the brush tip and the bullet tip. So easy to use. Let's also add some white to this. Again, I'm just using the bullet tip of this, which is very similar to a Posca paint pen. It is not as opaque, and again, I'll do a review on these as well, but just so much easier to use and perfect for using in artwork like this, where you don't want something to be too overpowering. Let's add some of this olivey green as well. You see, that's lovely. That's really nice. And then finally, let's just add just a touch of detail to the leaves with the white. Just trying to tap really lightly with this and not go into too heavy. And again, we can just go down the centre. Just like this. So here we are, this is my finished page for this month's Let's Get Arty prompt, and you can see that I've added lots more doodles and details to the leaves, but my intention is that I can create a whole cluster of these to add to my usual scraps journal. Now, of course, you don't have to use the same supplies as me. Use whatever you like, use acrylic paints, your watercolour crayons, anything. You know, you do not have to do the same theme as me either. You know, just really put your thinking caps on and see what you can come up with for this prompt. But, you know, I hope that this has inspired you in some way. And if it has, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well if you want to follow along with this series so that you don't miss any of the future videos. Do go and check out Kylie's video as well this week and see what she's been up to. But most importantly, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.